Hello and welcome. What are the signs of a country falling apart? Well, some are saying take a look at Pakistan and you might get an idea. This, of course, has come in the wake of the violent and audacious attack on Sri Lanka's national cricket team as it travelled to the stadium in the Pakistani city of Lahore. On Wednesday, the police combed the city for gunmen and security officials grappled with evidence that the attackers may have planned a Mumbai-style siege in a bold and highly coordinated manner. CCTV footage showed the gunmen armed with assault rifles and grenades in backpacks, and Tuesday's attack, which killed 6 policemen and injured 6 Sri Lankan cricketers, came on the heels of several events that have shaken the country. The past few days have seen protests across Lahore following a court ruling that removed ex-Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's brother as Chief Minister of the Punjab, aggravating the already worrisome law and order situation there. And to the north, a fragile ceasefire in Pakistan's insurgency-hit Swat Valley is hanging by a thread after a series of violent and ambushes claimed more lives. The attack on Sri Lanka's cricket team is just the latest sign of disintegration of security in the country, prompting us to ask, what is the regional impact of rising instability in Pakistan? Remember, you can join our conversation with your questions and comments. Log on to livestation.com/AJE, enter the chat room and take part. And we also welcome your phone calls on the show. To discuss that issue and other related matters about the increasing stability in Pakistan, I'm joined by the Pakistani High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Wajid Shamsul Hasan. He was a close advisor to the assassinated Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. Mr. Hassan has said that his country needs assistance and support from the West to effectively fight terrorism. We'll get to the High Commissioner from London in just a moment, but first let's cross over to Al Jazeera's Kamal Haider, who's in Lahore. Kamal, thanks for being with us at such a late hour there. The story continues to develop, doesn't it?
Indeed, and as you were mentioning, Rez, that CCTV footage showing the ease with which those gunmen were able to walk away from that brazen attack, carrying their bags and walking very casually as if it was a walk in the park. That, of course, has really disturbed a lot of people here, because they will tell you that while the security apparatus is always there for the VIPs and the political representatives, it is not there to provide security to the citizens of the city.
And Kamal, what about the role of the Sri Lankan government and Sri Lankan security forces in this? What has their role been in the aftermath?
Well, in a gesture of goodwill by the President of Sri Lanka, he sent his foreign minister. They were both in Kathmandu in Nepal. The President telling the foreign minister that he should take a message from the people of Sri Lanka and from the President to Pakistan, that Pakistan was a friend indeed, a friend in need. He also paid tributes to those police officials who were killed in the fight that ensued yesterday after that attack was launched. So indeed there were words of support from the Sri Lankan foreign minister, and he also said that the two countries had enemies, common enemies. He also said that he had evidence that the Tamil Tigers did have external links, but he didn't go beyond that. He didn't point fingers at any neighboring country. He did, however, say that the two countries had a common enemy.
Kamal, before we let you go, just a quick idea from you on how the Pakistani public is reacting to what's been happening.
Well, there's dismay all over, because what the Pakistani public is watching on their television screens is the bickering that has been going on between the politicians. Every day they watch those scenes, and they are very concerned about the future of their country, because democracy has been achieved at great price, even though there is much to be desired on that front. People will tell you that the military alternative is not good, and some people are even speculating that if the politicians don't get their act together, there may be no other option but for the military to step in. That, of course, would be laden with its own dangers.
Kamal Haider, thank you very much for joining us from Lahore there. Well, let's get to the High Commissioner from Pakistan to the United Kingdom. We have Wajid Shamsul Hasan, who's joining us from London. Sir, I'm glad you could join us. And I guess this isn't just about Pakistan, is it? This is something that indicates perhaps a risk for the whole region, the South Asian region. What is being done to ensure that there is some kind of stability with the neighboring countries around Pakistan?
As you are aware that Pakistan is at war with the terrorists, and there's no let-up in that war. We are confronting them everywhere, and they are also striking at places which of their own convenience. And they definitely took advantage of recent political agitation in Lahore and they thought that this was the right time for them to strike because people were agitating, and so they could really get into them and mix with them, and they resorted to this well-planned attack. But again, as Kamal Haider has just now said, the Sri Lankans were satisfied with our security arrangements, and the manager of the team, their captain, said they were fully satisfied with the arrangement of the security, and they were provided presidential security, as you must have heard. Right. And there were 5 mobile vans with them, with cops in them, and also a lot of other efforts were made to keep the area very calm and quiet. But unfortunately, this thing happened at the marketplace, which is usually very busy in the morning. Right. And that's how they got away, these terrorists.
High Commissioner, High Commissioner, if I could ask
please.
you, what about the response to what Kamal was talking about how people feel that there is now a culture of VIP security in Pakistan, but for the average person, that security in the country is secondary?
No, VIP security is definitely there because they're under threat. They're under direct threat of these terrorists. The terrorists have been issuing lists of their would-be victims. So we have to provide the VIPs their security. But also, you know, in the cities, the surveillance is very intensive. Cameras have been fitted in several places in Lahore and Karachi and other major cities of Pakistan. And so we are doing whatever we can with our limited resources. But I'm sure you would know, sitting in America, that the best possible security system failed on 9/11. So did it fail on 7/7 in London, and so did it fail in Mumbai when they were already supposed to be on high alert following a Marriott incident in Islamabad, and these 10 terrorists managed to hold the whole 5 hotels or 4 hotels at hostage, their guests as hostage, and burn down Taj Mahal and whatnot. Right. So you can imagine these terrorists, wherever they want to strike, they are determined to strike, they strike. Okay. They don't care for their own lives, and they with great impunity, they kill the civilians, as well as whatever their targets are.
Well, High Commissioner, I'm going to get a caller on the line because we let our viewers have a chance to participate in the show, and Shahzad's on the line from Paris. Shahzad, your question, please.
Yes, Mr. Khan, I'm a little bit not really convinced by Mr. Ambassador on your show right now, that what he's giving the example of in Pakistan and in London attacks and in Mumbai attacks. The thing is, Pakistani security forces, they are highly qualified, and they are the best security forces in the world. ISI, FIA, you can call so many other agencies inside Pakistan, and they are heavily armed. And they're so active everywhere, wherever they're working. So I'm really shocked that this was the roundabout where this incident happened in Gulberg in Lahore. I am from Lahore. In this roundabout, in normal days, there's always security and police forces always around there. So this gave a guest coming from other country to playing a cricket game. How come that there was just only one policeman to protect them?
Okay, Shahzad, I'll get the High Commissioner to answer.
There was not one police van. There were 5 of them there. And you can imagine that 6 police cops officers died on the spot, and 9 are still in the hospital. So you can imagine the amount of firing they took on themselves to protect the team. And it was one of the drivers got killed in that, and one driver in which the team was traveling, the coach that the team was traveling, he dashed into the stadium to save the team, and they only got away with minor injuries, thank God. And while the policemen gave their lives for them. So you can't just undermine. You can say that the security was not enough. It's an afterthought, of course, but security was enough. Okay, and the Sri Lankans were satisfied when they came over to Pakistan, and they were satisfied to the extent that even after the match, they said, even after the incident, they said that they are happy and they will be coming back to Pakistan again to play cricket. Okay.
Well, we'll discuss some of the impacts in a moment, High Commissioner, but Bart's on the line from New Zealand. What would you like to ask Bart?
Yes, I'm just curious, you're trying to integrate with the rest of the world. You're trying to integrate Pakistan. Why would you disenfranchise such a large majority of your people by allowing strict Islamic law?
This is actually, High Commissioner, this comes down to the issue of how Pakistan, parts of Pakistan now are really, out of control of the central government, and there are also deals being made to allow a greater expression of Islamic law in regions, which again people are questioning.
Well, Pakistan is still run under the 1973 constitution. There is no compromise on that. The law that he is mentioning is in Sawat, which was a princely state once upon a time, and they had their own set of traditional azlo insaf, what they used to call justice and fair play, and that was in vogue all the time, and that was what they had been demanding, and that was conceded to them, and that's why we have seen comparative peace in Sawat and other areas, adjoining areas. That is not a surrender, it's just implementing the desires of the people who had been living under such a tradition and customs. So we allowed them, we restored those things, and we got peace for them.
Okay. High Commissioner, there's an email that came in from Saudi Arabia, if I may put this to you, sir. It says the lack of proper democracy, education and accountability are the main causes for instability. They must be addressed and remedied if the region wishes to prosper in the future. And I wonder if how you regard the comments made by some leading figures that now Pakistan has become the front line for the battle against extremism, and this is the reason for the instability.
Pakistan definitely has become a front line to fight against extremism, and ever since the democratic government took place a year ago, it has been doing its more than its share of counter-terrorism and taking action against them. But the fact is that we have been, inherited a whole lot of, 8-year-long of backlog of problems, which include economic as well as power generation problems such as that. But besides that, if you look at the working of democracy, I think it has been working very well. You have we had 4 coalition government except one now, where we have all the political parties are represented through a consensus, politics of consensus that was evolved by the President Zardari, who successfully implemented it to the extent that recent Senate elections were held through consensus. Everybody got elected unopposed, which was the consensus among all political parties that was shown in that election, and that shows that how democracy has consolidated itself. Except for the judgment that upset Mr. Nawaz Sharif, we had been going on very well on the road to democracy. Okay. And I think in due course of time we would have consolidated it further, and Pakistan would have been a very formidable sort of system based on the will of the people.
Well, High Commissioner, I'm just about to take a short break here. More questions for you. We have to stop, but more of our discussion in a moment. Now, as we pause, let me remind you that you can join the conversation with your questions and comments by logging on to livestation.com and entering that chat room you can see where the debate's taking place. We'll be right back.